Hello. So, this video is going to be about Pluto transiting into the seventh house. This is going to be for Leo risings as Pluto transited into Aquarius already, and it's going to be there for a while till 2044, 2043, 2044. So, the seventh house ruler is Libra, and Libra rules over the planet Venus. The seventh house is all about our deep partnerships, our long term relationships, and one on one dynamics. So let's see. Going through the seventh house, it's going to bring about profound transformation to your relationships, partnerships, how you relate to others. The one on one partnerships, whether it's romantic, business partnerships, close friendships, family relationships. Pluto's presence here can signify a period of very intense change, like usual. Pluto brings that, right? Revealing hidden dynamics, power imbalances, and emotional depths within your relationships. This transit often requires you to confront fears and insecurities about connecting on a deeper level with someone else. Intimacy, power, leading to more authentic experiences in partnership. So let's look at the themes. So, major theme, of course, is intensifying close relationships and emotional bonds. Everything that comes to your relationships is going to be in focus for you. If it's not like outwardly seen, you're going to feel it. All of those fears of connecting are trying to come out of your subconscious, out of your psyche, because Pluto is the only planet that can really trigger your inner psyche that's hidden. Because Pluto's the only planet that is brave enough to go deep into the very void, the darkness, right? Because obviously he's what Hades rules Pluto, so god of the underworld. Let's see. All superficial, unfulfilling connections will slowly start to dissatisfy you. You're going to get bored of the ones that are not really fulfilling you. And you'll recognize where it's kind of becoming more of a burden, not in a way to where you just like disregard people, but I think what it will happen is that circumstances between like certain friendships, partnerships, and relationships, events will happen and take place on both ends where you come to a stagnation or a halt of, where you can't go any deeper. Then that's kind of like the stagnancy, right? So there's nothing left to kind of continuously go through. And if there's no support there, then it's almost like you're carrying on more weight than you need. But usually you find those types of connections by having karmic relationships that feel faded. They feel faded in a way because during those times you feel like it was meant to happen, like it was destined to teach you something deeper. And so that's going to really hit you throughout this transit. It's going to ignite the hidden parts of you so that you can grow and have this mutual understanding and emotional depth with whomever you go through these experiences with. And by doing so, it transforms your romantic and marital partnerships as well, because obviously, if that happens with just regular relationships, you can bet it's going to happen in your romance as well. Whether it's getting married or getting divorced, or whether it's evolving and going into another dimension of intimacy with a partner. all long-term things are going to be transformed. But no matter what, the underlying issues are going to come to the surface. Things that need to be changed, patterns that you need to confront that involve control, jealousy, dependency, or fear that impact the dynamics of your partnerships. If you're single, though, Pluto in the seventh can bring powerful transformative relationships. Like I was talking about earlier, just the karmic relationships can come into your life, but they are there to teach you something around love and intimacy, inspiring growth on both ends for both parties. Facing power dynamics and control issues. If there's manipulation or, power struggles with dominance, this transit will encourage you to recognize those tendencies. You can work towards a healthier balance. And then you may also experience those karmic partners to exhibit those controlling behaviors onto you, but it will give you an opportunity to assert your boundaries and explore issues around personal power. It's going to help you develop a backbone, to develop an awareness and belief in your own self-worth, to recognize your needs and your voice. Shedding codependent patterns. You'll become aware of any codependent tendencies in your relationships. This transit urges you to explore how you can create a healthier balance between your needs and the needs of others. So if you tend to give too much or rely too heavily on others, Pluto's influence will encourage you to build a more independent, self-sufficient approach to relationships. Confronting fears around vulnerability and intimacy. So vulnerability and intimacy in particular, are going to be involving the seventh house, the fifth house, the eighth house, the most. Because those, well, it could involve fourth as well and 12th, but those are more childhood stuff. When it comes to the present, fifth house, seventh house, and eighth house are big key players here because they all revolve around intimacy issues or fears, traumas. So if you've ever had fears of abandonment, rejection, or betrayal, these things are really going to come to your awareness of how much it really does affect you on everyday life. There could be subconscious patterns that were programmed from your past, experiences that follow you through to your present day that need to be consciously worked through. And Pluto's here to help do that with you. You have to put in all the work, of course, but he's going to be there to kind of aid you in the process of letting it go and letting it out easier. Pluto encourages you to develop greater emotional courage, allowing you to open up and build stronger, more resilient relationships. This is a time to embrace vulnerability as a path to deeper connection, even if it requires confronting uncomfortable emotions along the way. And then ending unhealthy or toxic relationships. If there's any relationships in your life that are unhealthy, unbalanced, or toxic, you best believe Pluto's transit through the seventh house is going to lead you to a breaking point. This transit often, hold on one second, I have this pop up here. This transit often brings an awareness of what's no longer serving you. And I think I said that earlier in the video, pushing you to let go of those partnerships that are going to drain your energy and keeping you from growing, stagnating you. Although these endings can be challenging, they also create space for new, healthier relationships to enter your life. Pluto's energy is transformative, so any relationships that end during this time are often replaced by connections that better align with your true self. And then healing relationship patterns and past wounds. Opportunities will be given to you in order to really heal, have a deep healing in your relationships, your pattern in relationships. You're going to become aware of those past wounds. So, which will basically harken back to the fourth house of home, because that's where it all births from. The programming births from childhood, which is fourth house, home. And then the 12th house is your subconscious, where it lays there and it's not really known and it's hard to access. So those things, it's like you're bringing the fourth house, you're bringing the 12th house together into the seventh house to break those patterns, and Pluto's helping you there. And therefore helping to liberate you, allowing you to approach relationships with greater openness and authenticity. And then you'll also have your approach to compromise and harmony transformed, making things more balanced, even out, middle ground, all that kind of stuff, which is always good, right? So now let's look at how we can navigate Pluto in the seventh house. Practice radical honesty. Pluto in the seventh house encourages openness and honesty in your relationships. So it's going to be a time to communicate openly about your needs, your fears, your boundaries, fostering greater authenticity and trust with partners. Don't be afraid of making the other person mad, upset. Don't fear, oh my gosh, if I do this, they're going to dislike me, or they will judge me, or whatever. It's being, it's confrontation, which no one likes. Those are never fun, but they are necessary to have. And it just needs to be put on the table. If you keep putting your personal needs on the back burner, it's just going to keep building up, and then that will turn into resentment. So it needs to be put on the table and needs to be just released without fear. And that takes time, but you'll have a long transit to get through that and get there. So set healthier boundaries, pay attention to the power dynamics, ensure there's balance and respect in relationships. Don't assert your needs, and just don't be afraid to assert your needs, but, of course, be balanced about it. Protect your energy, especially if you ever feel pressured or controlled to do something. Engage in self-reflection. This is going to be a time for you to reflect on those painful past relationships that you've had. Notice any recurring themes or issues that kind of harken back to those memories. Do you see it kind of almost playing out like a repeat? If that's the case, then that shows the pattern of who you're drawing into your life, the type of people you draw into your life. And then ask yourself, why am I drawing these types of people into my life? What is it that, is it because of my pattern? I usually go to the same places all the time and then encounter these individuals. Or is it because I'm emulating like that kind of a, law of attraction thing, where it's like you'll attract what you kind of emulate energetically. You'll explore what might be holding you back from experiencing the kind of connections that you truly want and desire. Embrace vulnerability. Pluto will encourage you to have emotional intimacy. So you really need to embrace those opportunities when they come up. Allow yourself to be vulnerable and open. Allow yourself to cry, even though no one likes to show their tears in front of everybody, or in front of anybody for that matter, You need to let yourself be seen in your entirety, including your fears and all your insecurities, because it will lead to more profound, fulfilling bonds. Seek support if you need, because Pluto's energy can really bring up some very challenging emotions during this time. This is a big one. This is a huge transit. This is not just a little transit. Seventh house is a big deal. Consider seeking support through therapy, counseling, or a trusted confidant. Working through deeper issues in a safe environment can help you grow and transform during this time. Release what no longer serves you. Pluto's energy often requires letting go. So, in the seventh house, that may mean releasing relationships that are unhealthy or incompatible with your values. Trust that by releasing these connections, you're creating space for healthier, more fulfilling relationships to enter into your life. Trust the process. It's scary because no matter what, it's scary when it's Pluto. Pluto will take you to the darkest depths. But know that you're strong enough to get through those dark times, and you were created to go through these experiences. You were meant to, for your evolution in your soul, to ascend on a soul level. By the end of the Pluto transit, there's the potential outcomes could be that you have a whole new view on relationships. Your partnerships could look different, or they could be the same. Who knows? You can either have a whole new relationship, or you can be in the same relationship and it's just evolved to another level of higher frequency, if that makes sense. Like a higher form of love. So more spiritual. You'll have a deeper understanding of your needs, your boundaries, and values, empowering you to create partnerships that are more balanced and meaningful. This transit can lead to significant personal growth, helping you overcome fears around intimacy and build relationships based on mutual respect and trust. You will also have a clearer sense of power dynamics with relationships, allowing you to engage in partnerships from a place of empowerment rather than from fear or dependency. And as a result, your connections will feel a lot more authentic and aligned with who you really are, giving you the freedom to express who you are without compromising. It will teach you to embrace that vulnerability, that practice that radical honesty and being yourself without fear, fostering connections that allow for mutual growth and transformation. So by the end of the transit, you'll be equipped to experience relationships in a way that's both empowering and deeply fulfilling, aligned with a sense of self that's resilient, aware, and open to love in all its transformative depth. So that's beautiful. It's scary, but it's beautiful. I'd say it's scary because I'm going to be going through that transit. I'm a Leo rising, so I'll be navigating through it as well with you guys, with all the other Leo risings out there. And what's interesting is right before Pluto went into Aquarius on, 19th, 20th, kind of just depends. But right before, I got this book. It's called The Absent Father Effect on Daughters. I'm reading this right now. Father Desire, Father Wounds by Suzanne Schwartz. And let me tell you, I'm only on page 20 right now because, well, if you look at the letters, it's really small writing. But, I'm kind of pacing myself because I was also bawling my eyes out already reading it. If you have father wounds, that's a very real thing. When it comes to 7th house Pluto transit, I highly suggest you work on those father wounds. Because for women, for daughters, the 7th house is very much connected to the father and how we find our love and our relationships, how we learn our worth. So to heal those wounds is crucial. And I found it just so, I wasn't even thinking about it. I wasn't thinking, 7th house Pluto. It just, for some reason, I had this desire and urge come across this, and it's like, I need to start. So I don't know if it's just by coincidence or maybe I don't know. It's okay. I don't have to know everything. But I would highly suggest working on that. And if you're a male and you have mother wounds, because males can have mother wounds. And by the way, males can have father wounds as well. It's not just, opposites wounding each other. It could be either or. regardless, at the very end of it all, it is the relationship experience you had in your relationships as a child. And the two most important people in a child's life is their parents, the ones that brought them into the world. If there is trauma there, if there is some really deep-seated pains and wounds, I highly suggest you really look into healing and exploring that, working on that if you're going through this transit. I sure will. Well, I hope you guys liked that. I'm going to be continuing the rest of the other ones, of course. I appreciate everyone's patience. I really do enjoy this. And though I am not the ultimate expert in astrology, I do know a bit, at least enough. And I just want to kind of offer little bits and pieces for those who are just kind of dabbling in it. But I continuously learn more and more as I go. So I appreciate all those who join me on this process. I hope to gain more, subscribers eventually, but, I just let it go with the flow, and I just be yourself, right? You guys be yourselves. I be myself. We're all happy. That's all I have for now. I hope you guys liked it. So have a good day. Peace out.